What if compassion and creation aren't just emotional or mental states, but fundamental forces? What if the love that you feel, the visions you imagine, and the pain that you have endured are all part of a much larger field, one that is measurable and meaningful and malleable? Today, I want to share with you the science and mysticism of quantum creation and quantum compassion, and why your inner state, your healing, and your heart are far more powerful than you have ever been told. Today, we are exploring the bridge between science and spirit, the frontier where quantum physics and compassion and conscious creation meet. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Melissa. I am a meditation and compassion key master and healing facilitator. And if you enjoy this topic, please like and subscribe, because that encourages the platform to offer it to more people who could benefit from hearing it. So take a nice deep breath and realize that you are infinitely more powerful than you have been taught to believe. Science has increasingly been catching up to what mystics and meditators have always known, that you are not separate from the universe. You are intimately entangled with it. Your thoughts are not random. They are part of an intricately organized field. Your compassion is not passive. It is one of the most active forces in this field. So let's begin with a little Quantum Physics 101. The language of potential and possibility and presence. And no, I am not a physicist. I'm somewhat of a different order of scientist. And yes, I might be simplifying this topic greatly, but it's to make it as accessible as possible to the largest number of people. So bear with me here. So to begin with, we are going to focus on two fundamental principles that, once understood and considered, might change everything for you. So we're going to talk about superposition and entanglement. First, let's talk about superposition. Superposition is the idea that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. This is the both and the always, already, ever, only. In classic physics, an object exists in one defined state at a time, this or that, either or. But when we began expanding while we were simultaneously zeroing in, they noticed particles actually behave differently. Superposition is the principle that a quantum particle, like an electron or a photon, can exist in multiple states at once until it is measured or observed. So what exactly does this mean? It's not that it's flickering rapidly between different positions, right? It is literally occupying all possible positions all at once at the same time. So think of it like sunlight passing through a crystal prism. That one beam of light contains all the colors of the rainbow simultaneously, but you don't see them until the light interacts with the prism and then splits it into many hues. Before that moment, all those colors were coexisting in a single unified field of light. But when the prism refracts it, one or more colors become visible. So they were all always already there, embedded in the greater existence of the light. This is superposition, and you are light. Your body, your attention, your beliefs, they are the prism, and they refract perceived reality accordingly. And this isn't just a metaphor, right? Quantum systems genuinely exist as a blend of possibilities, which holds all the potential outcomes. And when observed, one possibility becomes actualized. You too exist in superposition as a blend of possibilities, energetically, vibrationally, and imaginatively. At any moment, you hold within you the version of you who feels stuck and tired and doubtful, the version of you who is radiant and sovereign and masterfully creating, the version of you who has already healed, the version of you living in your dream home, offering your highest gifts to the world. All of these versions coexist in the underlying field until you observe, intend, and align with one of them. So this is what we mean when we say that you collapse the waveform with your intention. Your predominant and repetitive thoughts, feelings, meditations are acts of focus and observation. They entangle with the version of you that you are predominantly dwelling in. They tell the universe, this is who I am now. Right? This is what I'm buying into. This is what I believe. So why does this matter? Well, when you practice entering the calm knowing state, you're not just calming your nervous system, you're also withdrawing your attention from chaotic and discordant versions of reality and creating a space for reconsideration. So you become less entangled with fear and drama. You rest back into a version of yourself that radiates a different signal. In essence, you are shifting into an observed position as an embodied state. And that is the state from which quantum creation springs. Okay, let's talk about entanglement now. Entanglement is when two particles become so deeply connected that the state of one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. So, how does this happen? Well, we can use relationships as a good example. Entanglement happens when two or more particles or people interact in such a way that their states or lives become interdependent. It also happens when particles or people interact in close proximity, especially in ways that conserve energy and momentum, as in they are both kind of moving in the same direction, so they're kind of helping each other out. This also happens in partnerships or teams where people have the same or similar related goals, right? There might be entanglement from the moment of creation, as with twins or parents and children. Then there are deliberately crafted entanglements. They become interdependent in order to preserve a balance where a mutual dependency results. You might find this in work relationships or teams or in marriages. Now, some physicists and consciousness theorists suggest that entanglement isn't caused or created as much as it is revealed. That all things are always already part of an entangled and interdependent unified whole. And what we call entanglement is actually just a glimpse into that deeper underlying or implicate order. In that view, entanglement isn't a rare or special condition. It's the normal state of reality before the perception of separation appears. So, entanglement essentially proves that you are not separate. Your energy is not sealed off. It is part of a larger, pulsing, intelligent field. So then why does the mind see separation? Well, the Indian scriptures go into great detail about all the ways that consciousness contracts and limits itself in order to have a human experience. And I'll probably get into that in a different video. But for now, we're just going to say that because the mind is designed to filter and categorize, it gives us names and shapes and boundaries, because that's how we survive and engage with physical reality. We evolved to perceive local, stable reality for safety and functionality while here on planet Earth. But perception doesn't always equal truth, right? The illusion of separation is a very useful interface, but it's not the deepest truth. Okay, so if quantum entanglement says that everything is deeply connected, but our day-to-day experience is one of perceiving a reality that is very convincingly one of separation, how do we reconcile those two truths? So this is where David Bohm's model becomes very helpful. He proposed that there are two levels of reality: the manifest world, where objects are separate and distinct, local and measurable. This is the explicate order. This is where we see separation. And then there's the unfolded quantum field, where everything is interwoven and connected and part of a deeper whole. This is the implicate order. So, yes, on the surface level, things appear separate. You have a body, I have a body, there's a wall, there's a chair, there's a cat. But at the quantum level, these things are all fluctuations of the same field. They are distinct and unique patterns of vibration within a unified field of energy and information. Bohm said that what we take to be separate parts are actually part of a deeper, undivided whole. Imagine two tuning forks crafted from the same material but placed in opposite corners of the room. You strike one, and the other all the way across the room begins to hum. Why? Because they're attuned. They're in resonance. What vibrates in one becomes a felt experience in the other. Have you ever thought of someone and they texted you within seconds? Or felt a loved one's emotion before they spoke a word? This is entanglement in action. When two particles become entangled, their states are linked so intimately that even if separated by galaxies, a change in one instantly affects the other. Not through a signal, not across time, but instantly. The Chinese recently did an experiment in space that proved this. So at the deepest level, we are not separate. There is no space between you and I, only interbeing. You are not alone in a vacuum. Your inner shifts ripple outward into the unified field. In form, we are distinct. We play different roles. We appear separate. In essence, we are one, interwoven and entangled, a single living system. So yes, separation is part of the game, but it's not the final truth. So what does that mean for us? This is where the leap from science to consciousness gets interesting. If particles can be connected across space, if separate objects can act as one, if the observer collapses probability into reality, then you and I and everything else are part of one vast, entangled, expansive whole. When you shift your energy, your state, your frequency, that shift ripples through all of reality. And when you meditate, when you practice self-directed compassion or enter the calm knowing state, you temporarily step out of that default mode perception of separation. You drop into a deeper coherence where the felt sense of unity becomes tangible. These aren't just curiosities of particle science. These principles are doorways into understanding our consciousness, our energy, and our creative potential. Because you, too, exist in many possible states, there are many versions of you. The one who still feels stuck, the one who doubts, the one who is rising, the one who is free, and the one who knows. And when you observe yourself through intention and attention and presence, you are participating in the quantum process of entangling with a particular version of you, thereby collapsing that possibility into form. And that is creation. Now, let's take this a little bit further, okay? All versions of you still exist in the field. You are always standing in a cloud of possibility, and the version you choose to embody through intention and attention becomes your timeline. When you dissolve away the old impressions and make space for consciously directed re-entanglements, your observation, your awareness, is the entangling factor. You entangle with the version of you that is coherent and free and fulfilled. And when that becomes consistent, reality begins to reorganize in your favor. This is why practices like meditation and compassion key and the knowing states are so essential. They train your mind and body to rest in coherence, to repattern your energy field, and to shift the unseen so that the seen can follow. The unseen quantum field of infinite potential responds to coherence. The outer world then reflects it. When your mind and your heart and your body and field come into coherence through breath and through meditation and through compassion, you are not just affecting your own state, you are tuning the field for others as well. You are resonating a frequency that entrains others, not by force, but by field effect. Just like the tuning forks, just like the prism, just like the pulse of the universe itself. Now, let's take it a step even deeper. Through superposition, we know that observation collapses possibility into form, that attention has the ability to crystallize something into a particular form or position. It has organizing power, right? Now, this is actually quite a fascinating subject that I'll have to make a different video about because it's really too much to get into here in relation to being the object of observation by another, whereby you can become fixed through the power of their attention, right? Whoa, okay. So let's put that to the side for now. Your attention has organizing power, not metaphorically, but energetically, at the foundational and fundamental level, at the building blocks level. And if that's true, well, is that true of all observation? Is it possible that there are different forms of observation that have different effects? Traditional psychology sees compassion as a helpful emotion, a social adhesive, neurological response, even evolutionary survival advantage, right? But what if compassion is much more than that? What if compassion is not simply a feeling state or an approach, but a fundamental power and organizing principle of the universe? Well, then we can also ask, well, if compassionate observation or observation accompanied by compassion is a particular form or flavor of sacred observation that results in a different outcome rather than being fixed or positioning that observed, it actually dissolves or dislodges it. And well, what we're discovering through the practice of self-directed compassion is that yes, it does. There actually is a loving quality to observation that emotes, I see you. I see your pain. I feel you. I witness you as you are and have been. It's an entanglement of the heart energy that facilitates a release through witnessing, not to fix or force, but to honor what is, to give it the attention it needs that it didn't get before during the originating experience when it internalized the limiting perception or belief into form. This compassionate attention dissolves the previous form, thereby offering up space for something new to emerge. In the quantum field, everything we've ever experienced, every belief, every trauma, ancestral imprint, or identity leaves a subtle thread of entanglement, energetically and psychologically, These threads continue to influence our choices. They influence our perceptions and reality until they are witnessed and honored and released. Compassion, especially self-directed compassion, precise and deeply attuned compassion, becomes the tool through which we begin to disentangle from the outdated versions of self that we no longer need to carry. We're not erasing them. We're liberating the energy that's bound within them. As we offer compassion to the parts of us caught in loops of pain and scarcity and unworthiness or confusion, we collapse the wave function of those identities. We release the entanglement. And in doing so, we reclaim that energy and potentiality. And then, with presence and intention, we observe and we attune to the version of the self that is coherent and integrated and whole and lit up. And as you draw it forth, you can begin to entangle with it. You magnetize toward that version of you that already exists in the field. The you who is light and aligned and embodied and sovereign and clear. Now, this is not bypassing. We're not going around it. We're going through it. And so it involves fairly significant resonance shifting, whereby you become free to choose again and again to align with the frequency of your truest self as you discover it and realize it and free it, allowing reality to reorganize around that signal. This is why self-directed compassion is so potent. When you offer yourself love and clarity and truth, when you forgive, when you soften, when you clear old patterns, you're not just shifting your own frequency. You are shifting the frequency of the collective field. And as you rise and your field strengthens, your frequency becomes magnetic, and you stop creating from fear, and you start creating from inspiration and flow. Quantum compassion is a recognition that we are all waves in the same ocean. Your trauma is not just yours. Your healing is not just yours. It ripples out. And when you apply self-directed compassion, you begin dissolving the hard knots, the energetic whirlpools, the trauma loops, the karmic threads that have kept your life circling in the same patterns. This is the deeper layer of quantum creation and the true force behind quantum compassion. This is how we begin. This is how we clear the energy so that we can step forward and rise up. This is quantum compassion in action. In the description box below are links where you can download a free guide and meditation, which is a powerful and moving exploration of the I am realization. You can also explore different ways that you can work with me if you feel so called down in the description box below. Let's create the new earth from the inside out, together, right now. In this very moment, we are in an evolutionary and planetary shift. This solar maximum cycle is very strong by design. It's hard to find a more causative element than the sun itself, right? And if it wasn't here, we wouldn't be here, right? The energy coming from the sun right now is inviting us all to let go of the old systems that no longer serve our highest good. This is the time to engage your full power, to shift timelines, to create consciously, to feel deeply, to anchor in a new field of reality through your own body, your own mind, your own psycho-emotional system, your own nervous system. Let's walk together into this new earth reality. Step into the position of fully aware and fully conscious observer. Start entangling with a new reality. Let's step over the threshold together. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time.